I thought it was a good finish to what I felt and coaches and players felt was a good spring practice. And I thought, certainly a beautiful day helps, but I thought there was a lot of people that made this day happen. And it was appreciate all those in the athletic department and students that were volunteering in the McLean. Had a chance to peek in there and kids running around, and you see Bucky. That's pretty cool. And to come out, and I thought our kids had good energy, and but had it all spring, and that's what I really liked about the group and appreciated from it. And the spring game is the last one of 15, and I thought for the most part, our team took advantage of the opportunities presented to us to get better, and that you're thankful for.
Jeff.
Paul, it's no secret in talking to Ted Gilmore that he'd like to see a number 3 wide receiver emerge. I know George has had some moments this spring. I don't want to make too much out of one practice, but were you pleased to see some of the things he did today?
Yeah, and I was actually pleased that we were able to do. I wasn't sure going into it with 3 receivers, and Dub was able to give us a little bit. We were able to work on some of the throw game, and you're right. George has worked this spring, and I think that this day he had a couple noticeable plays, but I thought what he did was, I think the last 3 or 4 he probably had his best practices. So I think he finished the spring on a higher note, and I think that's got a chance to give him some confidence going into summer. So I thought that was good. And what he did is he took advantage of the opportunities, and that's what happens when you practice and you stay healthy. And he's worked, and so he got a lot of reps, and that'll be something that we've got to, for us to be a good team this fall. Certainly that position has to. We've got to develop some depth. And I thought Jazz had a really good spring, and I think Rob and Reggie had their moments, but missed some, and so they've got to get healthy and they've got to have a great summer.
Jason.
Coach, how much did Bart and Alex progress over these 15 practices, and do you like where they are right now?
Yeah, I think they took advantage of the practices and the meeting times, and I think that I told them the other day that we're not where we want to be, but I don't think they're behind schedule. And with that being said, I think this for our whole team, we've got to have a great summer and then be ready to go, and we've truly got to take advantage of fall camp and those 29 practice opportunities before we open up. But I think both Alex and Bart did do a lot this spring, and with that, I think they've grown, and I think they're in a good spot, but we've got a ways to go.
Well, how much of today is simply about building confidence in guys and sending them into the summer on a high note, especially for a guy like Corey, who's coming off a tough season?
Yeah, I think when you were first asking the question, there's nothing about this day that you don't try to set up to guarantee the comps. But then when you put Corey into it, I think that this was good for him to finish out, and he was excited to be back and practicing and feeling healthy. And so it's probably, the truth is that every guy's at a little bit different place in their career, in their journey, and you get out of it what you put in. And I think the guys that put a lot in got a lot out of this spring, and that you're appreciative as a coach.
Jesse.
Paul, Alex had 3 really nice deep completions today. I know it is just a spring game, but how much stock do you take in a performance like that going into the summer? And what are your thoughts on where he stands right now?
Well, I think you're talking about Alex Hornibrook. I thought Alex, he did some good things today, and I think he's done some good things in most practices we've had, every practice, and they've got to, it's not this game. He hasn't played a game yet. This wasn't a game. It's I know with one, who you go against is different. And yet I thought he did some I thought he had poise. I think the one thing that Alex does is he's an accurate deep ball passer. He gives guys a chance to make a play, and so I think he had some good plays today, certainly. But this is 1 of 15, and it's April.
Jeff.
Paul, do you have any idea about your safety spots, or with Dixon missing so much time and Musa with the class thing? I don't know, not that you start over from scratch in camp, but where do you stand in having an idea who can play back there?
I think that the safety position's probably the one on defense that is still to be determined. Now, you say that, and every guy's got to come back in fall camp and be who we think they can be, but certainly the different factors with Dakota getting injured, with Moose missing decent amounts of practice because of class, gave great opportunities. I thought Arrington it was really good for Arrington to take advantage of that, and certainly, Joe Ferguson, Evan Bondock, they got a lot of work because of it. But I think that's the one. It's easy right now, right? You look at it and you say Vince and TJ on the outside. We know who the inside backers are. We know who the D linemen are. So front seven's pretty well set. Soldiers played a lot of football, but the safety positions, the one on defense, I think it's to be determined, and it'll be through camp.
Andy.
Paul, you have would appear that the tailback depth is pretty set. Can Broderick Shaw find a way to get some playing time this coming fall?
Yeah, I think Broderick and Taiwan were able to take advantage of a lot of work this spring, and we all know, and it's how many tailbacks last year, and so certainly should be deeper. You hope we're deeper than we were last year, with the return of Corey and no one leaving. And I thought Broderick took advantage of his first spring, and I thought Taiwan, a little bit different for the backs, not because it's a spring game, but because we're tackling. And you can see, I thought they ran hard. We had the one where we put it on the ground, and we got to learn from that. But I thought both the young backs did some good things this spring, and I thought finished it today, certainly.
You talked a little bit about the summer and not wanting to take a step back. How important and how difficult may that be for college guys that don't go to class all the time? And is this a group that you need to remind that, hey, we need to continue to get better through the summer?
It's summer's a really good time for our kids. It's they are going to class, but they don't have the full load, and it's a chance to really focus on the weight room and also focus on having time to be able to do some field work. I think it's a time when we come together as a team. I think it's a time where your leaders, I thought they emerged in spring ball. In winter conditioning, they kind of start. They emerge in spring ball, and I think in the summers when they take it over and it becomes their team. And you don't take this for granted, and we won't with this group. But one of the things that I've always believed at Wisconsin is the players have maximized summers as well as any group that I've ever been around. And now we've got to, just because it's been done in the past doesn't mean it's going to happen with this group, right? We've got to champion it, but I think this group will. It's a group that we've got a lot of self-starters in it. We've got good leadership, and we've got a group that's got a good focus to it. So certainly excited about the summer, not worried about how their approach is going to be.
Looking into the summer at the fullback position, moving some players over there this spring, what's the outlook for that position?
Well, I think that it was good for Leon to get 15 practices and probably double that in meetings and film session. And Alec Ingold learning. This is his first spring ball. Last year at this time he's trying to win a state championship in baseball. And Austin Ramish, look forward to getting him healthy. And so I think we got a chance to have some depth. And I think there's certainly 3 good football players in it, and I think we're going to need that position. We're not deep at tight end, so we're going to have some guys, and I think that position can give us something.
John.
What did it mean for the young boy Brett to lead you on the field like he did today?
I had a chance. I think it was a big deal to him. I had a chance to meet Brett when I was up in Menominee recruiting, and then because of the way the recruiting was, and Mason being from there, we were able to go back, and so we were able to stop in at his school, and the more you get to be around him, he's a special guy, and he's got a perspective and outlook and an attitude that's it draws you to him. And so it was fun to have him down and around the guys, and I'm proud of our guys, and I want, a guy like Brett to see them, and it was a good thing. It was fun.
Andy?
Paul, where does Garrett Dooley fit on your depth chart? I know it might be hard to put the whole thing together right now, but does he fit in a prominent place going into fall camp?
I think Garrett does fit. He knows there's a guy to me that had a great winter conditioning period, and then he was able to stack it with I thought a really good productive spring. And I think there's a guy that's finding his spot, and certainly, we've talked a lot about Vince, we've talked about TJ, we know that Sitch has played the outside backer spot, but I think Duel's put himself in a position where he was kind of cutting it loose and playing, and that'll be big for us. And that was one of the things that we did a nice job of last year was playing 4 outside backers, and I think he's put himself into the conversation. He's given himself a chance for that, and I think that he's a guy that could be a 4-phase special teamer. So you're talking about a lot of plays. I think that he's got a chance to participate in, and I think he can make an impact.
Coach, there's been talk about this event being low attended, but attendance was pretty good today. What did you think of the sport?
I thought it was a great atmosphere, and I appreciate people coming out. And I, like I said, my opening statement, I appreciate what everyone in the athletic department did to make it a good day, and you hope was a fun day for people that did choose to come. And I thought our kids, were talking about it, and they thought it was a neat atmosphere, and I thought it was really a good day.
Coach, how much is this team and defense specifically going to get their identity from Vince and his leadership?
Well, I think that every team, you want the identity coming from the players, and Vince is be the starting point. But you're talking about football, and you're talking about especially defensive football. We're going to be good if the identity is that whole group, and love having a bell cow like Vince. Appreciate that a ton. But it's the whole group that's if we got a chance to be a good defense and to be special, it's because of a lot of people, and we've got a lot of different types of personalities on that defense, and we need them all to be themselves and be those personalities. But it's if we're going to be good on defense, it's going to be because of everyone. And Vince will have a big part in it, absolutely.